So Will Ospreay is going to be a free agent next year, February of 2024, and his New Japan contract ends during that time. He spoke about it with Sport Illustrated, and he pretty much said who is in the lead as far as promotion for him to be at his new home. But we're gonna be talking about that and what he said and what I think he should be at and whatnot. That's just my opinion. Also, we're gonna talk about what MJF said about the G1 Climax, saying people put themselves through hell to just to go into that tournament in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're gonna be talking about that. Plus, we're gonna be talking about Sting and what Eric Bischoff said about Sting and whatnot. We're gonna be talking about that and then much more on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report.
Is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I am your host, the infamous Ultimate One, the one-man show. And I say that because someone asked me today, do I have a host, a partner when I do these podcasts? And the answer is no. I'm a one-man band, if you want to say that does this, and I enjoy doing it, bringing you all the latest news when it comes to professional wrestling. So let's talk about Will Ospreay. Now, Will Ospreay, his contract is up on February of 2024. Now, Will Ospreay, and I said this in my audio podcast this week, Will Ospreay is the best wrestler in the world as far as this year is concerned. A lot of people will say, oh, it's Roman Reigns, which is a freaking joke to me. Well, not because Roman Reigns has not wrestled that much this year and whatnot. So it's not him. It's definitely not anybody from AEW. There's nobody in the AEW. Not even MJF, the world champion. He is not the best wrestler in the world. Not even Kenny Omega is one of the best wrestlers in the world. The best wrestler in the world right now is Will Ospreay. And I say this because Will Ospreay, he's already defeated this year alone. Okay, he's defeated Kenny Omega, Sasuke Okada. He's beat Zack Sabre Jr. and he just beat Chris Jericho. So this man has done everything. And that's not including his wins in New Japan Pro Wrestling, who he has beaten. After getting his butt whooped in January with Omega and Wrestle Kingdom, which I feel that is the match of the year. I think there hasn't been any match out there that has topped that match and whatnot, with Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, and whatnot. And honestly, the way I'm looking at it is Will Ospreay has done everything that he said he's going to do and whatnot, and he's going to do what he's supposed to do. Now his biggest challenge coming up is Gabriel Kidd from the Bullet Club War Dogs, who attacked Will Ospreay a couple of days ago and whatnot. So the whole point of that is now that's going to be a new challenge for him. The man took the United States IWGP belt and renamed it as the UK title. The man held the British world champion for, over 1,000 something days. He had that belt and whatnot until he lost it this year. And even though he has done so much in New Japan and he has put his body through hell and whatnot, just to entertain the fans, and he has hurt himself. I mean, he ended up, at one point he had to forfeit the IWGP belt, which he never lost. He had to forfeit it to Shingo Takagi and whatnot. And the man has never lost the world title. He had to forfeit and whatnot. Then they ended up putting the belt on the line, and he ended up losing. I think it was against Okada. I don't remember who he lost, but he never lost the world title. This man has won accolades, a bunch of belts. Okay, and when he says he's gonna beat somebody, he delivers and whatnot. He delivers. So Will Ospreay right now is talking about after February 24th. You know, there are options that he's looking at, and you'll be surprised who he says that has a chance um to pick him up and he be part of the company. And it's not WWE and it's definitely not AEW. But if he signs with this company, he definitely won't be wrestling in AEW and whatnot because this company stopped working with AEW back in 2020 and whatnot. Once they opened the doors, once those doors were open for them to work with New Japan. And I'm talking about Impact. Yes, Impact. So this is what Will Ospreay said. Um, I believe it was today, matter of fact. He said, I'm still in negotiation with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Impact is in the running for my next home. In the running. Now, does it mean that he's not gonna sign back with New Japan Pro Wrestling? I mean, he still could, and then still work with Impact, still work with AEW. He guess he's not settled down. I mean, and New Japan Pro Wrestling does need to put him as the face of the company because the company right now is doing a transition of all these young wrestlers they have. The Naitos are getting old. The Okada is getting old. Hiroshi Tanahashi is getting old. Hiroki Goto is getting old. So a lot of these wrestlers are getting old. Tomohiro Ishii is getting old. You know, so they need a new blood, and I believe that Will Ospreay should be the one who leads that. And even though I understand that in New Japan, the face of a company has to be Japanese, but how about changing that tradition for 1 second? Do you know the 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 recognition that New Japan will get even more with Will Ospreay on the helm? And then you got a lot of talent in there. You got to have a lot of talent in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But this is what Will Ospreay said. And this came from Fightful Select. Said Will Ospreay said he is willing to test the waters as his potential free agency is on the horizon. Former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay can hit free agency in the near future as his New Japan contract is up in February 2024. Now, they said former IWGP World Champion, Heavyweight Champion, United States Champion, because he changed it to, matter of fact, no, I'm sorry. I'm reading this wrong. Yeah, he was the former World Heavyweight Champion. I'm thinking about the United States title, but he never lost it again. Ospreay has competed for AEW on multiple occasions, and he will return to Impact at Impact Bound for Glory on October 21st. The reigning IWGP United Kingdom champion continues to shine in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but he remains adamant that he is open to all options. In an interview with Justin Barraza from Sports Illustrated, Will Ospreay stated that he's still in negotiation with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He made it clear that he's looking to explore every option, and Impact Wrestling is in the running for his next home. Now, what does this mean if he gets to side with Impact Wrestling? We're going to get to that, but this is what he said. The deal is up in February, and we're still in negotiation. I'm looking to explore every single option and every single avenue. Impact Wrestling is in the running for my next home. I'm willing to test the waters, so this match against Mike Bailey is a real treat for me, and I'm excited to do it, especially with what could happen next year. You know what I'm saying? Ospreay has said that he is open to all options until the New Japan contract expires. In April, he said that he was fairly confident that he and New Japan could work out a deal and whatnot. So, with that being said, and whatnot, so let's say if he goes to Impact, you know how big that will be for Impact? Impact will have the scope on them, not like they are now. Now they're really depending on New Japan Pro wrestlers to come in. I mean, Kenta is coming in for this Bound for Glory. Well, Ospreay is coming in. So they're working with New Japan as far as them working to get their stuff out there, you know. And if he gets to go to Impact, he won't be able to be working with AEW because AEW and Impact have not had a good working relationship for a while. I mean, I think the last time that an Impact um, wrestlers went to AEW was when the Motor City Machine Gun showed up. I think it was for a tag team match and ended up coming out of pay per view. I don't remember which pay per view it was, but Impact, that will be a good move for them and whatnot. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it's a possibility. So anything is open. And then let's be realistic. AEW, the way things are going for them is more of they need to get Will Ospreay in their roster. I mean, you already got Jay White, you got MJF, you got Adam Cole, you got Kenny Omega, you got a talent full of rosters, talented wrestlers. But them right now, their main stuff is to get Mercedes Moné to go to AEW, even though I don't know about that women's division, but they need to bring her in. I know Serena Deeb's already is back again to AEW after she was disappeared for a while. Them getting Will Ospreay is big time. Now, could it be a possibility that Will Ospreay will go to WWE? Listen, after we seen Cody end up going to WWE, anything is possible in wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could still see CM Punk show up in Chicago and whatnot. I mean, they sold out. I think they added more seats because people believe that all this nonsense with the dirt sheet about him not coming into WWE, they may be, it'll be a surprise and whatnot. Who knows? You know? So that's something to look forward to and whatnot. But as far as Will Ospreay is concerned, that's a guy that, he's going to be making noise regardless. And Will Ospreay said this also. He said, no matter where I am the best wrestler in the world. And I have to agree with him with that. He is awesome and whatnot. Even though he just takes too many chances, too many moves, whatever, but the man is awesome. Okay. He has taken his wrestling to another level. Okay. To another level. He said, Will Ospreay will be the best wherever he's at. Will Ospreay has had an eventful 2023 wrestling Kenny Omega at the Tokyo Dome, Chris Jericho at the Wembley Stadium, and traveling all across the world to wrestle in different countries and various promotions and whatnot. Ospreay is said to be a free agent February 24 when his New Japan contract expires, as we already spoke about that. And Ospreay has been coy about his future, but no matter where he goes, he will be the best wrestler in the world. He said, the way the next year is looking, I have no idea which direction I'm going to be in wrestling, but one thing is going to remain. No matter where I am the best wrestler in the world. And this came from Fightful Select. So, again, this is something that I feel that, if he ends up in Impact Wrestling, that's going to be big for them. Big time, I mean, Impact can't mess that up because they always get the good big names, and next thing you know, I don't know. I mean, I would love to follow Impact. They always pull me in at one point, and like I told to my boy DeAndre Cherry about 11:30 podcast that they pull me in, and then the next thing you know, they pull me out because of the booking. And they got talent. They got talent over there. It's just they don't. I don't think they marketed stuff right. I don't know, but. Well, Ospreay going out there, that will be amazing. It would definitely be amazing to see. So, let's talk about what MJF said about the G1 Climax. Now, MJF said, I don't understand why wrestlers want to do the G1. That shit is exhausting. So MJF is good on the G1, which means he doesn't want no part of that. Bryan Danielson and Adam Copeland have recently commented about potentially competing in the G1 Climax tournament, which is New Japan's annual tournament that lasts a month during the summer and has been described as the most grueling tournament in wrestling. AEW talents such as Kenny Omega, John Moxley, Eddie Kingston have done the tournament in the past. MJF won't be adding his name to the list. So, and pretty much that's what he said, that the G1 Climax is exhausting. MJF, of course, is the reigning AEW World Champion, hasn't had enough target on his back with Wardlow, Samoa Joe, Juice Robinson, Jay White coming after him. So let me get this straight. MJF, if, yes, you're the AEW World Champion. That makes you the best wrestler in AEW. But if you want to be the best wrestler in the whole world, the G1 Climax is the wrestling tournament that proves to everybody what you're made of. I personally feel that the G1 Climax is the best tournament there is. I mean, you can ask guys like AJ Styles, who has been in that, never won it, but he's been in it. Um, you could Eddie Kingston, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Okada, Ibushi. Who else has won that? Um, I mean, Big Van Vader used to be in those tournaments. You know, so this is not something that one day you know they woke up and they were like, oh, this is too grueling. The wrestlers shouldn't do that. No, you go in there and you wrestle your ass off. And in order for you to be the best in the world, that's where you got to be in it. Yeah, maybe some wrestlers are not meant to go through that. Some wrestlers are not meant to go through that grueling 1 month period during the summer and go in there with that strong style of wrestling with all those wrestlers in there. When you go in that ring against Taishi, or you go in that ring with Tomohiro Ishii, or Kazuchika Okada, or Hiroshi Tanahashi, even though he has slowed down. You got guys in there that will bring it to you. Joshi Hashi, they will bring it to you. Yo and Show, all these guys, they will bring it to you. They're not gonna be in there and try to wrestle a style, United States style. They're in there and bring it to you. I mean, look at Gabriel Kidd from the, Alex Coughlin, Don Maloney. What's the other guy? The Rhino from the Bullet Club, War Dog. These guys, we're regular wrestlers, and they've been in New Japan, and they do that strong style wrestling. Zack Sabre Jr., Mikey Nichols, Shane Haste, all these guys are in Japan and they wrestle that strong style of wrestling. Because why? Because they want to, master their craft in Japan. When you master your craft in Japan, man, you have hit go. You know what I'm saying? Ask Carl Anderson, ask Luke Gallows. Those guys been in Japan. AJ Styles, Finn Balor, they all were in Japan. Okay, even the Viking Raiders, those guys won the IWGP Tag Team Champion at one point in Japan. And this is something. This is nothing new. But MJF, if you want to prove yourself that you're the best, okay, then you got a lot of competition here in the United States because everybody's claiming themselves the best. Roman Reigns, they talking about he's the greatest of all time, even though I'm not taking anything away from his wrestling ability. The guy is good in the ring and whatnot. Right now, he's the hottest person. He's the face of the company in WWE. But, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have guys like that saying they're the greatest. You're going to have John Cena. They're talking about he's the GOAT, which is no way in my Rushmore of great wrestlers and whatnot. In that era, of John Cena era, Triple H, The Rock, Kurt Angle, who else? I mean, those guys. I can't put John Cena in there because John Cena. I mean, not taking away from what he did, but John Cena, when he was around, he was in the PG era. It was only WWE, and whenever he loses the belt, they give it right back to him. So, but going back to MJF, if you want to claim you're the best in the world, you have to go to Japan. Ask Ric Flair. Flair wasn't the greatest of all time, or he is the greatest of all time pick for wrestling only in the United States. He went to Japan. He fought Giant Baba. He fought Jumbo Shiruda. He fought Katsuki Sasaki. He fought the Great Muta. You know what I'm saying? He fought the best. All the guys that were in Japan, the best. Big Van Vaders, the Bruce Brodys. He wrestles all those guys who were in Japan. So for MJF said, "Oh, the G1 Climax is an exhausting shit." Well, what do you want? These matches in Japan, I mean, only the best survive. Eddie Kingston was in it. And Eddie Kingston is not one guy that you can say, he's a great technical wrestler. You know what I'm saying? He's a good, technician or grappling wrestler. No, he went in there and fought his style wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And did very well. He did very well. He was what? Out of the 8 matches, he was like 5-4 or something like that, or 4-4. He did very well. I think he made it to the semifinals. And he lost to David Finlay. You know? So, and I mean, Japan is the shit. I tell you right now, Japan, if you have not wrestled in Japan and you have not been in one of those G1 Climax, then I don't know what to tell you. For somebody to say, like MJF, that, it's an exhausting shit, he doesn't want no part of it, fine. Guys like Adam Copeland, he wants to do it. All I'm saying is, I mean, he's up there in age and it's not going to be good. You know what I'm saying? Because those guys are hard-hitting guys and whatnot. So let's talk about Sting and whatnot. So Sting, right now, he announced on Dynamite this past Wednesday that after Revolution of 2024, he is retiring. Now, I mean, I've been following Sting since 1986 when he was part of the Blade Runners with the Ultimate Warrior. Now, that was in 86 and whatnot. So, but they made debut somewhere, I think, in 85, something like that. So it's been over 37 years? 37 years that I've been watching Sting. And even though Ultimate Warrior is not with us anymore, I mean, Sting was able to maintain his name and his brand for so many years. No matter where he went, the fans never turned on him and whatnot. Even though Impact tried to make him like a bad guy at one point and whatnot, he still was the legend that he is. I mean, I remember when I first saw him, he was part of the Blade Runner. I fell in love with him because the whole makeup and all that. I was a big Road Warrior fan. So with seeing another tag team like that with him and Ultimate Warrior with the black thing, I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool. The Road Warrior should wrestle them. And then it happened. Because then Ultimate Warrior ended up going to World Class, called the Dingo Warrior, and then the rest is history and whatnot. Sting went back to UWF, won the UWF Tag Team title with Rick Steiner in 86. Then he went to when WCW bought UWF, he became a household name and whatnot. His legendary feud with Ric Flair, especially in the 1988 Clash of the Champions, the first one, that's when Ric Flair put him in the map. The rest on that, he had that incredible paints that I used to love, of his design, the blonde hair. Him and Luger winning the Crockett Cup back in 1988. Him winning the NWA TV title a couple of times, the United States titles, tag team titles, and whatnot with Luger. I mean, the guy did everything, and his brand went up once he became the Crow Sting. Once he became the Crow Sting and the whole NWO stuff, that's when he was in another level. Even though his match at Starrcade 97 with Hulk Hogan, where he got pinned, and they did all this crazy stuff, and the rest, you already know what happened. But other than that, he did very well. And then, once WCW got bought by WWE, he went to Impact. He won the title there a couple of times. He became a Hall of Famer Impact. Then WWE brought him in. And that's what I was like, a little skeptical. And when they brought him in, at Survivor Series, I think it was 2014. And he death dropped Triple H at the Survivor Series match. And then the worst thing that WWE did for him was, first of all, they put him in the Hall of Fame only to then for him to lose at WrestleMania to Triple H and whatnot. And they brought in NWO, and then they brought in DX. And that, to me, was the worst thing that WWE did. Petty. It was petty shit. They were making WWE better than WCW. They still were dealing with that bullshit after, 14 years later, 13 years later. And they made him look bad. Then he got hurt by Seth Rollins with the, I'm sorry, I got a little fly running around. He got hurt with Seth Rollins with that Rollins powerbombed him against the buckle. He got hurt, and then he left. And never to be heard from him again. And then next thing you know, he came back to AEW. So now he gets a chance to retire the way he wants to retire, not the way WWE tried to put him to retirement and all this nonsense. He gets to retire on his own terms. And I don't know who he's going to wrestle. I mean, it would be cool if him and Jericho have a match where, Jericho beats him and whatnot, and he go his merry-go way. It would be cool, or because I'm sure they're going to put him in a match one-on-one and whatnot. So Eric Bischoff said he's happy for Sting. Uh, and he's happy for Sting because that Sting is able to end his career on his own term. Eric Bischoff said he was happy that he goes out on his own terms. On October 18th episode, AEW Dynamite, Sting revealed to fans that he'll be having his final wrestling match at the Revolution pay-per-view on 2024, which usually takes place in February or March. The match will bring Sting's historic career to an end, this time on his own terms. The Icon was forced to retire due to injury back in 2016 after a short run in WWE. On the latest episode of Strictly Business, Eric Bishop was asked about Sting's retirement, and in response, Bishop noted that he's happy for him. Bishop also said that he's happy for Steve Morton, the person, as he'll be able to look back at this part of his career in a fond way. He said, happy for him. I think anytime somebody who has been in the public eye and in a career like professional wrestling in particular has an opportunity to end their career the way they want to, under their own term. That's always a great thing. I'm happy for Steve Morton. I'm happy for the fan who've been a fan of the character thing for a long time. When it plays out really well and is all said and done, Steve Morton sitting on a rocking chair in Dallas, Texas, watching the sunset where he can look back at this part of his career and smile because that's what it's all about. And then Bishop continued to say, hard to say. He said Bishop also wanted to talk about the possibility of viewership increase in only wrestling during Sting retirement tour. And he said that depends. What's the build-up look like? Is there a story leading up to it? How much promotion does he get? How much attention does he get? It makes him be seen. Do I think it can? Absolutely, I think it can. Do I think it will? Who knows? We'll find out. So, Tony Khan is set to give a gift to Sting on October 25th episode of AEW Dynamite. So fans can see an update lineup for that show. So we'll see. But I've been a Sting fan for years and never did what some of these wrestlers or wrestling fans do. They turn their back on a wrestler because he's old, whatever. He is not wrestling, but Sting still does it. Sting still got it at 62 or 63, whatever he is, and he's doing it the smart way. And he gave props to Ric Flair because that's the man who put him on the map. And he even gave thanks to Hulk Hogan. Sting leaving, I know when he mentioned it, I got sad because I've been so used to seeing Sting we're talking about 37 years. I've been watching this man wrestle. So that's a lot. And to think about it, it's just something that, you have to say to yourself, look, don't be sad because he's leaving. Be sad that I was part of it. So his thing was always the guy that I always cheer the most for him to win titles and all that. I remember him and Muda teaming up against the Steiner brothers in New Japan. I think it was Wrestle War 91 or 92. I go way back when it comes to Sting. So, and then when he was part of the main event Mafia and whatnot. So, a lot of memories when it comes to Sting. So that is it for me this week as far as, this podcast. Also, before I leave, Conan said he talked to Bryan Danielson about working in Mexico. And he said, I saw him in AEW and I asked him if he wanted to do something in Mexico. And he said, yeah, brought up a couple of people that either that week or next. He fractured his forearm and we never talked. I have to talk to him again. I would like to work with him. So there you go. There's a possibility that Bryan Danielson may go to AAA and wrestle somebody over there. Who would it be? We need to find out. We'll get to find out. But again, thank you for coming through on my podcast, guys, and I appreciate it. So let me know what you think about this whole Will Ospreay. Is he going to sign with Impact or he's going to sign with AEW? I think AEW needs him more than WWE and Impact, and New Japan definitely needs him. So let me know what you think about that. You can leave me your thoughts and your comments on my YouTube channel. Of course, guys, follow me on my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell for new updates. Check out the content I have there. I got plenty of content in the channel. And why not? Also, guys, follow my audio podcast through Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, any audio platforms, podcast that you like to listen to. That's on usually that goes on Thursday. The social media, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find me there and whatnot. So let me know what you guys think about that. And also check out my the podcast store was the tcwr.veryimpressive.com. That's tcwr.veryimpressive.com, and check out the hats, sweaters, t-shirts, and whatnot. Support the podcast. And thanks for all those people who have subscribed to the channel and whatnot. So that is it for me today, guys. So this is this week's podcast. I will see you guys very soon. Until then, top guy out.